Hi, everybody. It's Monica with American English with Monica. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to my channel. Today's phrasal verb, to set up. To set up. This phrasal verb was a request from you. So thank you so much. When you type your comments and your examples and your questions and your requests, it's awesome. Thank you. Now, I will say, the verb set by itself has 20 to 30 meanings. This video is not about the verb set, but I am going to talk about 4 of the most common definitions for the phrasal verb set up. There's more than 4, but I'm going to talk about the most common 4. 2 of the definitions are when we set something up. And the last 2 definitions I'll review are when we set someone up. You don't want to miss those 2 definitions. They're quite opposite. So let's start with set something up. All 4 definitions can be separated. Yeah. Set it up, set someone up. All 4 of these meanings in these contexts can be separated. So let's get started on the first one. When we set something up. Okay. When we set something up, we're getting it ready. We are moving things into a certain position or a certain place to prepare for an activity or an event. We're setting up before the activity or the event. For example, if your office is having a big meeting in a few hours, well, maybe someone will set up the room. Maybe they'll move some tables and chairs. Maybe they will set up some snacks and beverages. Okay, we are moving things to get ready. When we are having a game, we're going to play a game. Maybe you're having some friends over and you're going to have a game night where you play a board game. Well, you'll set up some furniture, you might set up some food, but then you need to set up the game before you play, right? Put some pieces in certain positions. When we use this phrasal verb to set up, usually we're talking about something that will be temporary. The things that you're moving, they might be just for the event or the activity, and then they might be taken down later. For example, if your city or your town is having a big event, like a celebration or a festival or a race in the streets, they need to set up ahead of time. So maybe there'll be some road blocks that prevent cars and bikes from going down that street. Maybe there'll be some signs that people set up, but there'll be some things set up before the event. And then you have your big festival or your big race. And the next day, those things are taken down. So to take down is what we do after the event, after we've set up. Take down. Now, sometimes when we prepare something or we're getting it ready, when we use this phrasal verb, it's not temporary. For example, with electronics, when we get a new computer or a new television, we can't just start using it right away. We have to set it up. We need to move some things, prepare some things, get it ready so that we can start using the computer or watching the TV. So that's another example of to set something up. Okay, it's a big definition. There are a lot of different contexts where we use it, but those are some. So let me figure out to write that down. To get something ready, if you're taking notes, to get something ready by moving things into position. Let's do placing. By placing things into a certain position. And like I said, it might be temporary for like a party. If you have a big wedding, you have to set up tables and chairs, and you have to set up a tent outside, perhaps. And then it's taken down the next day. Do you have an example of something that you have helped set up, or something that you can think of that needs setting up before you begin? Put it in the comments, okay? The next definition for to set up something is simply a way that we say to schedule a meeting. Now, you need to know this one if you are in business English classes. To schedule a meeting. We use this phrasal verb often. To schedule a meeting. All right, let's set up a lunch meeting for next week. I need to set up a time with your boss. This means I want to arrange. We have to look at the calendars. We need to figure out the date and the time and the location. We need to set up a meeting. Now, the person who requested this phrasal verb, set up, also asked about the verb set. And like I said, there's so many meanings for set. I can't do that in a short video. But I do want to mention, we use the expression when the date has been set. We've set a date. The date has been set. We use that expression when we've scheduled something important, like a big event. You'll hear it a lot with weddings. Big parties, big weddings, the date has been set. They have set a date. So it's not used for like common meetings or appointments. Like, I'm not going to say I set a date for my dentist appointment. No, right? But if we set a date for a big anniversary party, or the big grand opening for the new business, or the wedding, the date has been set. You will hear that expression. Okay? Let's move on to set up people. This is very different. So when we set people up, again, we can separate it. The third definition is, this is quite bad, when we try to make an innocent person appear to be guilty. This is terrible to set people up like this. So when you'll see this in movies, someone who's innocent, someone that follows the rules, they're not committing any crimes, but let's say the police are trying to set them up. Maybe they're putting some evidence. Let's use the example of drugs, right? You might see this in a movie. A police officer puts some drugs into a person's bag. And the person who owns the bag, they didn't know the drugs were in there. Well, that police officer is setting up this person to look like a criminal, someone who has drugs. So it's really bad to set people up, but this does happen when people try to make others look responsible or guilty about something. So to frame, we say to frame a person. This is another expression that is the same as to set up someone. You're framing them for a crime, framing them for something bad. To frame someone, to make an innocent person look guilty. Yeah, it's really bad to set people up, but this does happen. And I want you to know this definition. If someone says, I feel like I was set up, and it's a negative thing, this is what they're talking about. The other definition, the last one today, is a wonderful feeling when someone sets people up. It's totally different, right? Different feeling. Something positive is when we introduce friends. We set them up because we think they might be attracted to each other. So they might have a potential for a romantic relationship. We use this expression when we set up two people. So if I have a friend that is single and another friend that is single, and I think they will be a good match, I set them up. I gave them their contact information of both of my friends, and I hope that they go out on a date. You might hear some people say, oh yeah, I met my spouse. We were set up by our coworker, right? So if there's people that you know and you're just casually, very friendly, it's not any pressure. I understand in some societies, some cultures, there are arranged marriages where your families want you or force you to marry someone. That's different. That's not being set up. Being set up for this context is your choice to go on a date with the person, your choice to decide what you think of them and if you want to go on another date with them. So sometimes we set people up and it doesn't work out. And sometimes we set people up and they become a couple, right? So to introduce two single people, and you're hoping that they will be attracted to each other and start a romantic relationship. Okay. Have you ever set up some friends? Have you ever been set up on a date? Yeah, I'd love to know in the comments any of these definitions. Okay. So I'm really glad you're here. Again, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you can like and subscribe, that would be awesome. And for all of my regulars, thank you for being here. Thank you for typing comments and questions. And I look forward to our next video. Bye.